Welcome to Health and Wellness. I'm Will, nurse practitioner, and today we're going to be talking about how much you can expect to make as a nurse practitioner, and for reference, how much I make as a new grad nurse practitioner. So stick around till the end to find out. Clear! I remember before I was working as a nurse practitioner and while I was in school, I would always be Googling how much do nurse practitioners make in which settings. I was very excited about the possibility of increasing my salary. While that wasn't the main reason that I wanted to become a nurse practitioner, that was a major factor to consider for me. I would look online at nursing forums and nurse practitioner forums and see just how much people were making. But honestly, the answers you'd find would be very different. Some would be much less than you were thinking, some would be much more than you were thinking, and I personally had a hard time knowing exactly how much I would be making as a new grad in my location. So how much do nurse practitioners actually make? A quick search on Glassdoor will tell you that the average nurse practitioner makes about $117,000 per year, and that doesn't include any additional benefits and compensation. Glassdoor will also tell you that a new grad average salary is about $100,000 per year. But averages don't always give you a great idea of how much you'll be making. So I'm going to give you 4 important factors that can help you determine how much you'll be making as a new grad or experienced nurse practitioner. Number 1 is experience. As an experienced nurse practitioner with 5 to 20 years of experience, you can expect to make more money than those with less experience or new grads. This is pretty obvious, and honestly, this is how it is with most occupations. You have put in your time, you know what you're doing, your company values your experience and knowledge, and so you're paid more because of it. Medscape released a 2018 compensation report, and this showed that the average salary for a nurse practitioner was $106,000 a year. However, those with 11 to 20 years of experience made an average of $123,000 per year. That's a $17,000 pay increase. From what I've personally seen, this range of $15,000 to $20,000 more with experience seems to be pretty standard. However, how long you've been working as a nurse practitioner is not the only thing to consider. Number 2, and actually might be more important than experience, is clinical setting. Acute settings such as emergency departments or inpatient care tend to make more money than outpatient settings such as primary care or specialty offices. And that's just the way it is. These settings tend to have higher stress levels, bring in more revenue, have less family-friendly hours, and require a higher compensation to maintain staffing. Outpatient offices can expect to make about $10,000 to $15,000 less per year. So you sacrifice some pay, but you do get a better schedule, weekends and holidays off, etc. These tend to work a lot better for people with families. The third factor to consider when determining nurse practitioner salary is going to be location. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I paid about $430 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Here, where I live in New Jersey, a 1-bedroom apartment goes for triple that. Not only that, food, drinks, and property taxes can also be much more depending on where you live. In general, the coast, specifically the Pacific Coast, will pay a lot more for nurse practitioners than Central or Midwest of the United States. But the cost of living isn't the only thing to consider with location. Sometimes very rural areas will pay providers more money to keep them there because they don't have enough help. So if the need is great enough, the compensation will be more. The fourth and last main thing to consider when determining your NP salary is your contract. By this I mean, are you a full-time employee, part-time, per diem, or locum tenens? Full-time employees not only get full-time pay, but they also get benefits and compensation. These typically include malpractice insurance, medical, dental, vision, sick time, vacation time, holiday pay, life insurance, etc. All of this really adds up, and being a full-time employee definitely helps offset this costs. In general, people who are paid hourly versus salary tend to make a few $1,000s more per year. Per diem rates are typically hourly and will make a little bit more than full-time employees because they won't be contributing any benefits. Additionally, if you work at some ERs or urgent cares, they may pay you a base pay as well as an RVU bonus. This means the more patients you see, the more tests you're ordering, the more money you will get as a bonus. Locums tenens, which basically just means a travel nurse practitioner, has the greatest opportunity to make money. However, you have to be willing to travel and you have to be confident as a solo provider. Some critical access hospitals will pay upwards of $150 per hour. Now, it usually won't be that much, but you have to be very confident in your skills because usually you are the only provider at the hospital. So how much does an NP really make? It honestly varies so much depending on those 4 factors that I talked about. I'd say a good estimate is between $80,000 and $120,000 as a new grad, and $10,000 to $15,000 more depending on experience. If you're willing to travel to ER and inpatient settings, open up your own practice, or just work a whole bunch of overtime, your salary and pay can be much more. So how much do I make as a nurse practitioner? When I was interviewing as a new grad for outpatient jobs, I got offers for about $100K, but I ended up taking a job as an inpatient hospitalist working night shift, and my starting new grad NP salary is between $110,000 and $120,000 per year. Now I do work 3 12-hour shifts night shift, and differential has to be considered, but overall that's very good pay as a new grad. Now I'm not saying this to brag about how much money I'm making, I just think it's important to be open and honest about how much you can make as a nurse practitioner for those who are students or thinking about becoming a nurse practitioner, for them to personally decide if it's worth it for them. I don't think money should be the only factor to consider when you're thinking about becoming a nurse practitioner, but I think it's kind of foolish to ignore money completely. Getting your NP education costs a lot of money, so knowing how much money you can make after you graduate can be super important in planning your future. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other questions about NP salary. If you have any other financial questions about being a nurse practitioner, or any questions in general about being a nurse practitioner, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer them. I know it has been a hot minute since I uploaded to this channel. I really just needed to take a breather, settle into my role as a nurse practitioner where I'm working, and now I think I'm ready to attack, ready to put out more content for you guys. All right, guys, thanks again. Now get out there and save some lives.